What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video on this Saturday afternoon. What is going on? Excited to talk some Jets football. Sorry, a little later in the day than usual. Was at the grandfather's putting up his Christmas lights. Came out phenomenal. I'm rocking the Christmas sweater today because we're in a festive mood. We got the lights in the background. We put up some Christmas lights today. And we got some Jets news to talk about. So we're going to talk about two things. Number one, Adrian Amos released. And number two, the Jets call up Perrion Winfrey. All right, it's time for my Underdog fantasy picks. I got 3 picks this week for Jets Falcons. If you sign up using my link, they are doing a 100% match deposit bonus. Make sure to sign up and get in on the action. We hit a W last week. We're going to try to do it again this week. My first play is Jeremy Ruckert, higher than 8.5 receiving yards. He's had 2 or more catches in each of the Jets' last 2 games. I think he will be utilized enough to get over that mark. Desmond Ridder, higher than 15.5 rushing yards. The Jets always seem to allow quarterbacks to run for a little bit. Not that they have, these crazy numbers, and not that Ridder's a crazy runner, but if he tucks in and runs twice, he probably picks up this number. And I think he does that on Sunday. And then finally, Breece Hall, 4 receptions, higher. This is the Jets offense right now, especially with Tim Boyle. He checks it down a ton. He's had 5 or more catches in each of the last 2 games. So I am riding that. So 3 plays, $10, 3 to win 60. Sign up using my link down below in the description. So the Jets and Adrian Amos part ways. I was a big fan of the addition to the New York Jets before the season started. And the big reason for that was because they lost Chuck Clark very, very early on. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. I was really excited to watch Chuck Clark play. I know they only gave up a 7th round pick for him from Baltimore, but I thought he was going to be a really nice piece to this defense. Instead, we pretty much get a safety pairing of Tony Adams and Jordan Whitehead, and Adrian Amos has been a rotational guy. And sure, some safeties have been banged up, and there's been weeks where Adrian's played a little bit more than others, but honestly, for the most part, the last few weeks, outside of 2 weeks ago, we got a ton against Buffalo, a ton of Adrian Amos snaps. So that was when Tony Adams had his finger poking out of his glove. Ooh, that was gave me the chills. Anyway, Ashton Davis. Gotta give this guy some credit. Ashton's been someone that, me in particular, I've been pretty hard on him the last few years, but I need to give him some love. I will do it. I gladly will. He has been a turnover machine. He has 2 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions in limited snaps this year. He's been great on special teams. He's always been good on special teams, especially the last few years. But one of his biggest issues was never athleticism, right? Like, the guy can make plays. He was always an athletic player. He just didn't have a ton of football experience under his belt, because he was a track star at Cal, and just the football IQ at times were lacking when you could see by like some of his pursuit angles and getting lost in coverage a little bit. But that's, for the most part, has really gone away this year. So he will obviously get more reps now that Adrian Amos is gone, and Amos could go to, pretty much any contender he wants to. It's a win-win for the Jets, right? Like, at 4-7, do they have an outside chance for the playoffs? I guess. But really, at this point, like, you can kind of just see what you have in Ashton and see if he's someone that you'd like to re-sign for this team. So I was a little bit surprised to see the news, right? But it kind of makes sense, that they're going to get a look at some of their other younger players on the roster. Now, for the second part of this, Perrion Winfrey, who the Jets added to their practice squad, is getting a call-up. And why it makes sense that he is someone that the New York Jets call up is because the Jets saw him a ton at the Senior Bowl a few years ago. Remember, the Jets in 2022 were the coaches at the Senior Bowl, and Perrion Winfrey was the MVP of that game. He had 5 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks. Out of Oklahoma, didn't really have that big of a role, early in his career, ends up becoming a free agent. Jets add him to the practice squad. But this is a little bit of a developmental project, and we've seen this Jets team in particular on the defensive side of the ball do really, really well with developing guys. Quincy Williams has been a perfect example of that. Waivers claim that you pick up and you were able to develop him. Bryce Huff is UDFA, so slightly different, right? But has really grown a lot under this staff. John Franklin Myers was brought in 2020, same with Bryce Huff, but over the years, especially under Robert Saleh, has really developed. So he's going to get a little bit of an opportunity as well. You know, Al Woods, unfortunately, was lost for the season, and they could use some help on the interior. So we'll see what he looks like this week in this game against Atlanta. I don't know if I would expect to see a ton of him, but, I'm curious. At this point, again, at 4-7, you kind of are looking at what you have, building blocks of the future, and it'd be nice to see some younger guys on this roster. So let me know your thoughts on both of these Jets-related items down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.